Let's just cut to the chase here. No silly intro, no long history lesson or thing I usually do. Let's just jump into it. God of Highschool's opening is not good. It's just definitively, in every way possible, not a good opening from every aspect I can think of. It breaks most of what I consider to be the standard for what makes a good opening, and it's a microcosm of the problems that I have with both of the existing Webtoon adaptations by Crunchyroll. That statement in and of itself seems to be a very divisive opinion to begin with, as you'll find probably as many fans as there are haters of both Tower of God and the God of Highschool. And this criticism of a bad opening has very similarly been levied at Top, the opening for Tower of God. And while I also think that opening is bad, it's bad for entirely different reasons than God of Highschool's, and arguably even with Top, the problems it does have are very easily fixable, as they mostly just amount to the black screens with plain white text ruining the flow and the drop in the chorus being fairly weak. But without one of those problems, the opening is actually pretty good. By the way, we discussed Tower of God weekly as it came out on the Season Weeb Club discussion, and we're doing the same for God of Highschool, so you should go sub to that channel for more God of Highschool discussion as it comes out weekly. You should go do that. Contradiction by Kisuke featuring Tyler Carter is an entirely different story, and what problems it has as an opening are beyond simple fixes, and the difference in quality between Contradiction to Top are also reflective of the difference in issues between the mediocre adaptation of Tower of God versus whatever the hell is happening with this mistreated, Beyblade kicking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer abomination that Crunchyroll is trying to tell me is God of Highschool. This video, however, is not about the show as a whole, as I'm saving that for later. Trust me, there's a lot to talk about. Rather, I want to point out how this opening being terrible is foreboding for the inherent misunderstanding of the material that the staff has for the original manhwa, but also for the future of Webtoon adaptations as a whole. So what better place to start than with the song itself? I don't really have any strong opinions towards dubstep. I'm fairly neutral on the genre as a whole, but it has to be executed particularly well for me to think anything highly of it. So take what I'm saying less as an attack on dubstep as a genre, but with the song itself. It's irritating. It's not a good song. It's a very simple build-up, then it slows down, builds up with vocals, then hits you with a bunch of blah, 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 with the repeat of the same line until the end of the song. It's probably the most generic example of a dubstep song that you could possibly do, which doesn't aid it when not only the instrumental is irritating, the lyrics and what the song is about can only be described as generic. I don't use that term often because I find its usage to be wrong more often than not, but especially in the case of an anime opening, a song about how a guy or girl is hot or cold, yes or no, in and out, up and down, is structured like a song that you would dance to in a club or at your white friend's birthday party is not the best for an anime opening. I am a heavy advocate for the importance of lyrics in anime openings, and you can find me talk more in depth about that in this video over here. Click on the card. But in anime openings, lyrics usually tend to say something about the show itself. Take Aruite Iko from Winter's Koisuru Asteroid. The entire crux of the show is that two girls made a promise in childhood to discover and to name an asteroid together. By chance, they meet again in high school as part of the Earth Sciences Club, where the astronomy and geology clubs are forced to combine when neither one had enough members. As such, the theme of the show is these two sides, heaven and earth, learning more about each other and pushing each other to pursue their dreams. And as such, the lyrics for the OP are as follows. When you look down, when you look up, there's certainly a future waiting. So let's keep walking. I don't want to hold back to do what I love to do. If you get rid of shyness and worries, the only thing you need is courage. No matter which angle you look at, the world keeps expanding. I want to find what I haven't seen, collect the shiny stones. When you look down, when you look up, there's certainly a future waiting. So let's keep walking. Along with this, the opening's visuals match the words and the idea behind the show, separating the two sides until the light of the stars unites their worlds. The instrumental even matches the heartfelt and chill tone of the show. Compare this to the God of Highschool. It's a story very much as far as I've gotten in the webtoon, which is halfway into chapter 2 by the time this video comes out, which is well after the events that will likely be covered in the anime, though if it somehow fits chapter 2 of the manhwa into 12 episodes, it's the equivalent of adapting over 6 volumes of material into that amount of time, which is already pretty yikes. The story of the Soul God of Highschool tournament is about this inherent love people have for the martial arts they perform, and if they do so for their own sake as opposed to justifying it for the sake of others. That's why you see Jin Mori being the strongest out of everyone as he uses his renewal taekwondo for the sake of what he alone wants to accomplish with all of his heart. This is contrasted in Dawi Han, who is fighting to get money for his friend's recovery, and Mirai, who fights to find someone to inherit her family sword style. So you would think that the opening's lyrics would have to do with something along those lines, the love of fighting or the drive to achieve one's goal. But Contradiction instead is just I can't tell you what these lyrics have to do with fucking anything regarding that theme. Is the singer talking to the desire they have? But how is Jin a contradiction? Is it talking about the contradiction of their ideals? Well, the subject of the song is too vague to the point where that's not entirely clear, and the only logical explanation is simply that the song itself is just a dance song that they turned into an anime opening. None of the main three are inherently romantically involved with each other, and even the plot of episode 4 is strictly unrelated to any type of romantic desire, so there is just an inherent lack of meaning in the song's lyrics themselves. This isn't even a problem with Tower of God's opening, as that story is about the desire of reaching the top, and the perseverance and drive it takes to go there. As such, the lyrics literally talk about that. If you think the lack of meaning in the lyrics is a problem alongside the terrible instrumental, you'll find the visuals to be infinitely more frustrating. All of the animation present in this opening is directly ripped from the first 2 episodes with different After Effects filters and graphics flying everywhere. This wouldn't be a problem if this wasn't the first thing you saw when watching the show, and then everything you saw in this opening just happened again in the show but with a different color palette. Not only do these cuts of animation not correlate with the lyrics, they also don't tell you anything about the personalities of each of the characters. You never get that sense of Mira's airheaded yet brutal and scary attitude, or Dawi's chill and caring nature. You barely get a sense for what Jin's personality is, which isn't helped when he's the one who lip syncs the funny albeit contradiction line when he's literally the most straightforward in terms of personality in the entire cast. Speaking of that lip sync, the line is very obviously sung as if he's belting it out or bopping his head, but Jin's just standing there, as his mouth is the only thing he's moving, as his hand slowly reaches towards the screen, like the one meme, you know. In fact, arguably, it only does a good job of showing the personalities of the wrestler girl and the baseball bat boy whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce. I don't have an issue with using shots from the show if it's done so in a creative way. The English openings of the Pokemon anime do this fairly well because the shots themselves are used creatively and vary in ways that show the many facets of the show as well as the cast as a whole. Even the usage of After Effects isn't a problem either. The World God Only Knows, Blend S, and Eden of the East have some of the most creative visuals I've ever seen in most anime openings, with the World God Only Knows being a masterclass in creative presentation that also ties into the meaning of the show itself. Even something like the Asterisk Wars opening has far better usage of this type of execution, along with the fact that As War uses entirely new animation for the sake of the opening. But the visuals in the God of Highschool opening, from the random text that shows up on screen that just says battle and go, don't really say anything, and the entire piece just feels put together for the sake of having an opening. And even if you're going to use the argument that, oh, they don't want to spoil anything, they're showing you everything that happens in the first 2 episodes before the show even starts. So what's the point of having these pieces of animation if they're just going to show up later on? Generic is a word I hate using, but I have to use it when describing Contradiction because even the way it's paced and put together is so by the numbers, and without any care to the meaning of the story it's attached to, you can literally replace the song with anything, and it still works.
Secrets that it hid. Now he's got superpowers, he's no ordinary kid, he's fantastic. My little pony, my little pony.
I have a bigger video on my alt if you want to see that, but I also had an entire Twitch stream where all we did was replace the song and every single thing we tried worked. And I mean everything.
Oh boy, here we fucking go. Fairy tale. Why fairy tale? I'm not going to beat around the bush here. It's personal, as you will come to find out.
Except this kid. Holy shit, this is the cutest child to have ever existed. Can't pronounce his name though.
Follow me on Twitch, by the way. It's twitch.tv/WhattheWut. Follow me right now. Let's go. Because of the structure of both the song and the visuals for the opening, there is no clearly defined build-up or chorus that a normal anime opening would have. And thus, just by replacing the song, you are almost guaranteed something will match the timing, because where the chorus hits in any other opening can fit anywhere. In fact, there are 2 points in Contradiction that I feel like where a chorus would usually go, and that's 9 times out of 10 where the other songs will sync up. The haphazard production of Contradiction is very frightening for any potential anime adaptation of a webtoon, because there is a very clear lack of specific care or even understanding of the heart and meaning of the show that is trying to tell. And trust me, this opening is just an example of the problems this show has as an adaptation. Oh boy, does this adaptation have problems, and this isn't the last you'll see me talk about them. I'm currently working on a breakdown of what's going wrong with MAPPA's adaptation and why I'm scared for the future of Webtoon and Crunchyroll works, because this is how the community is going to view these stories from now on, and as someone who really likes the manhwa, God of Highschool deserved better than this. And I'm honestly just disappointed. Thank you guys for watching another video by yours truly, WattheWut. This video was a little more angry than my usual content, and I apologize for that. But I feel like it needed to be said. I would like to now thank my patrons for making videos like this possible, namely people like Flarbu, Andrew, Courtney, Thanks Naturad, Mr. Cynical, Couch, and Natty. If you want more information on videos that are coming out, you can always follow me on Twitter, check out my Discord, and if you don't want to support me on Patreon, you can always donate to my coffee. And as usual, the script for this video is available on my blog. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
To the masses, but we better than the pastor. And a true boogeyman coming out the rafters. Camarada driving, we be racing way faster. Pulling hella bitches, call me Ichijoraku. Weeaboo, president, craft store, top 2. Baddest like Impachi, we the source and you the copy. You can bust it to your Eva, pretending that you forgot me. Gliding like a Tory, we be flyer, them and not me. Devoted to the craft, you can read it in the kanji. Trying to get deep, I'm the anime.